Welcome back. This is the first video in the series of exercise videos that will have questions at the end that we will work through step by step to get our predictions. Here's the setup. Once again, we have two water levels. I've drawn one in red and one in green. I will refer to them as red and green. They're just water levels. They're not red and green. That's just for the diagram. And this is the spacing between the various risers. I have indicated a 5-meter distance here. I don't actually have that number, so I made up an arbitrary value for us to use for these predictions. I have established a horizontal reference plane underneath the setup, and I have just said that the risers were filled to 5 meters above that point. I know that when Bev and Spot On did this test, they did it next to some body of water, a canal or something. So let's imagine maybe that can form that reference plane, and they filled their risers to 5 meters above that point, if that helps you to visualize. For this exercise, we will be working with hypothesis number 1. Hypothesis number 1, once again, plumb bobs hang down parallel to one another, and all risers on a single water level lie along a horizontal plane. I am not asking you to agree with this hypothesis. I am not asking you to embrace this hypothesis. All I am asking is that you apply these rules towards answering the questions that I ask in the following slides. So what prediction am I even talking about? Ultimately, what we're going to do is compare the two water levels at these 3 points. So in this slide, I have exaggerated the difference. I have created a difference. We're not expecting there to be a difference, but if there is, it might look like this. Under hypothesis number 1, we stated that there would be a plane that all of the risers, these 4 risers of the red water level, must lie along that same plane. So I've created a plane here, labeled it P1. And we also have another water level, so it could potentially have a different plane, and that would be P2. I have drawn the planes as lines, but these are planes. They are extending in and out of the screen, and so I've just drawn them in a side view that is just illustrated as a line. And I have created a reference plane down here at the bottom and called that P0. And what we will be looking for is the difference at these locations, the difference in height between the 2 water levels at the 3 different locations that they are very close to each other. Ultimately, we'll be measuring those, and that's the prediction we're trying to make through this first series of videos, and I've called that M1, M2, and M3. And I'll remind you that the expectation was that when the test was conducted, that the 2 water levels would be filled to the same level, and we're expecting that M1, M2, and M3 are going to end up at 0. Little spoiler alert there, sorry, that's where we're going. We're hoping that that is what's going to be predicted here. Let's work towards that in tiny little baby steps where no one can make any misunderstandings. For this first set of questions, we will focus only on the red water level. The water level lies along plane P1, and I have labeled 4 locations: A, B, C, and D. And all I want is for you to give me the position, the location of those 4 points. That's all I'm asking for in this first video. And here's the Google form. I'll put the Google form up there. Obviously, you can't click on that link. There will be a link down in the description to that same form. What am I asking for exactly on that form? You can see that I have created a Cartesian coordinate system here. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. I have placed the x-axis pointing to the right on my screen. It is in the horizontal reference plane down there at plane P0. That is a horizontal line. The x-axis is a horizontal line. The y-axis is then going to be a vertical. So thinking back to hypothesis 1, in this case, we have plumb bobs are able to establish exactly what is meant by a vertical line, and the y-axis points upward, like away from the way a plumb bob hangs. This is just a traditional way in math class. I think most of us learned how to graph positions in a Cartesian coordinate system. Now, the real world is 3D, so there should be a z-axis as well. The z-axis will just point, out of the screen down there at the cross. It points out. We don't need the z-axis for any of these calculations, so we won't draw it and we won't discuss it. All I'm asking for is the x coordinate and the y coordinate of each of these 3 points. So the point I'm pointing to right there, this is point A, point B, point C, and point D. Cartesian coordinate system, maybe that's not something that's second nature to you. Let me start by jumping right into the form myself. I'm going to hop over to the form and I'm going to fill out the first form together with you as an illustration of how to do this. I don't want this to be even the tiniest bit difficult. This is supposed to be such a simple step that we can't possibly disagree. When you open that form, and I will put the link down in the description, when you open it, it should come up looking like this. You will see that your email address, if you've even got one, is not going to be shared. That is only for you. That will not be kicked back to me. I don't get that data. Because of that, I am asking for Bev's answer in particular. So Bev, when you do this, please put something there so that I know that that's you, and anyone else who wants it known so that we can discuss later your answers, and I know which answers are yours. Put your name there. I'm going to put I can science that. Put whatever you want. And let's go on to answering the questions. Here we have that diagram again for your reference, and here are the questions. What are the coordinates of point A? And I just want x, y. So point A is right there, and the x coordinate of that point is 0 because it goes right through the origin there. What is the y coordinate? Well, it is 5 meters up from that reference point, so that is 5. So I'm just looking for 0, 5. Hopefully you agree that that's your answer. If not, you tell me what your answer is, and let's go on to point B. Point B is 200 meters down the x-axis. So let's put 200 for the x-coordinate, and for the y-coordinate, well, it's on that same plane, and the plane is horizontal, and the plane is 5 meters above the origin. So that means the y-coordinate is also 5. Moving on to point C. Point C is 300 meters down the x-axis and also 5 meters up. And finally, point D is 400 meters down the x-axis and also 5 meters up the y-axis. So those are my first answers for my first 4 questions on this form. And that is how simple this is. It's supposed to be simple enough that we all agree, and because we're supposed to all agree, I have no problem sharing with you my first set of answers there, and I'm asking you then to do that yourself. And then also there's more forms coming with more questions that will lead us towards that prediction. Okay, that's it for this video. Just hit your submit button when you're done, and that'll go to me, and I will collect all of those. I'm asking all the viewers who want to participate, go ahead and fill out the form. I'll collect all those responses, and I'm looking to hopefully pick out in particular the one from Bev who offered to work together on this and work with me, fill out those things, and I'll put together a little collection and show you what you said and how that compares to what I said and how that compares to what anyone else from the community, what they thought about this. All right, that's it for this video. Next one, part 2 of the questions will be right there, linked there, and I'll see you over there.